Okay, let's try this again. Gotta love this. Hey y'all, it's a live broadcast. Stuff happens. We're here to celebrate another book launch, and guess what? It's mine! Yay! So joining me today, Lydia's got a few issues going on with her internet. So, Lord willing, she'll be back here as soon as possible. In the meantime, you're kind of stuck with me and like the lagging of the internet. Lord willing, it won't be quite so bad. So, in the meantime, what we have today is, let me pull it up so you can actually see it. Share screen. Here we go. We have the Sands of Time Trilogy. Book 1, Appointed Time, was launched on August 30th of this year. Race Against Time, which is book 2, launched October 1st of last year. And then today, this day, right now, Out of Time is launched. So we're having some fun, and we're going to be sharing out lots of gifts and lots of prizes and lots of all sorts of stuff because, it's a Texas Sisters Press book launch. That's just how we roll. So we're going to start today with Miss Kay Wendt because we only have her for a limited time. Miss Kay, could you tell people about who you are, what you do, and what you got going on?
Okay. I am Kay Wendt. I've been an author for a minute. I have 17 books published. I write in multiple genres, including children's fiction, children's books, ages 4 to 7, multiple different women's genre, including westerns and Christian fiction. Hoping to launch my first romantic comedy this year. I also write poetry and lyrics and have 2 workbooks published because I coach other authors and creatives through their projects. Basically, when an author in the making or even a very established author hits their wall, they call on me to help break it down. And I'm also in the process of putting a workshop together, which CJ, I would love to talk to you more about later.
Sure, no problem.
And learning that takes a lot of hard work I did not expect, but I make it happen because I am stubborn that way. And so yeah, lots of going on in the author world. On top of that, I am a 6th grade ELA teacher and a current new grad student myself, going after my MFA in fiction writing. I don't know what to throw into there.
Well, what was your recent, let's say, launch?
That would be good, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. This is Phoebe. This is a children's book. It is a lesson in sharing, and it is actually based on my granddog, whose name is Phoebe.
Your granddog. Oh, cute.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I don't have grandchildren. I have a granddog, and I'm okay with that right now. She is an only dog, and therefore very, very spoiled. And so when she would go around other dogs for a while, she would have a hard time understanding that no, the toys don't all belong to her. She doesn't get to keep them and play with them, all hers, and kind of like teaching a child how to share. And so I took those cute little moments with her and turned them into a book for a lesson for children. And this cover, can you see that? That's actually a photograph of my daughter holding her dog Phoebe that the artist went and drew and kind of redid so it wasn't exactly my daughter and dog. To keep them a little blurred from the public, so to speak. But they did a great job expressing it on the cover.
Awesome. Well, I think it's adorable. So for those who, you have actually more than just children's books out. You have big people books is what I call them. Can you tell us about them? Because I know you also have those on audiobook.
Yes. Emma's Journey is my first novel that was published. It's women's Christian fiction. It won an award the year it came out for women's Christian fiction romance. That's a lot to spit out at once. It's actually going from 1 book to an 8-book series, possibly a 10-book series, because you know how it is when you're writing and you're working, and this character keeps up and goes, "Hey, I want a book of my own." So, yeah. So I'm hoping, and the way this series works out, Emma's Journey actually lands as book 2. So I'm hoping to pull it out book 1 this year. It's currently being edited and formatted, and then republish Emma's Journey as book 2, a part of the series officially. So there's that one. And then book 1 of my Western trilogy is called Burned on Sunday, A Colorado Reckoning. Don't let the title fool you. It's all about women's empowerment.
Nice.
So,
well, I have shared with your website, which is kaysbooknook.com. So if somebody were to go there, what would they find?
They would find advice in breaking down the creative block. I actually have a blog started on there where I'm going to take people through that process of what it looks like to actually break down your creative barrier so that you can move on and actually finish your project, writer and creative alike, right? Nice. Because whether we write, paint, or sing, we all hit a block. Nice. And so I have a blog on there that you can read and get insights from, and reach out to me if you have any questions. My books are, of course, listed there. Events will soon be listed there. I also, here's the story behind naming it Book Nook.
Okay. It's a bit of a tongue twister.
Huh?
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
Yes. Well, I had a dream once of owning my own bookstore. And because life is funny, right? Life is funny. I don't think the brick and mortar is going to happen, at least not right now. But I knew if I had the brick and mortar, because I already bought the name, I had the DBA for the name, Kay's Book Nook. I decided, why can't I do that online? So I actually have a page on Kay's Book Nook where I will advertise another author's book free of charge. And it's only staying free of charge for a while, you know, but right now it's free of charge. And all I need is the name of the book, what the cover looks like, and the link where they can buy it.
Nice.
That's all I need.
Awesome. So how do people get a hold of you if they want to have their books listed on your site?
Email is best right now, and that's authorkwendt@gmail.com.
Perfect. Okay, we really appreciate you coming today. What are you giving away again?
Phoebe.
The paperback of Phoebe. So we don't have a whole lot of people going on right now, so I'm adding everybody. So everybody has a chance to win. So here we go, if we can get it to move. Here we go. Let's see who gets Phoebe. Maybe. And Mike Clifton won. Way to go, Mike. Sweet. Well, thank you for coming on today. We really appreciate you coming.
All right. And I'm so sorry to cut and run, but I do have some other things to take care of. Thank you so much for having me on this tonight. And I look forward to... Huh?
I said thank you for coming on.
I look forward to doing this again with you. You guys have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, now my sister's supposed to be here, but she's having internet issues. So guess what, guys? We're on our own, and we've been cutting on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook by ourselves. So let's see what kind of trouble we can get into today. So we'll move on to spin the wheel, Miss Diann, because she's right next to me.
Oh, okay.
Diann.
Yes.
Who are you? What do you write? Because you're a multi-genre author as well. And how can people find you?
Sure. Again, thank you and congratulations for the launch of your new book. I'm really excited. I finally had a moment to start reading your book, so I have a long way to go, but you make it hard for me to write my own books because your books are really, really good. So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah. So everyone out there listening, make sure you find all of CJ Peterson's books. But you better have a lot of popcorn right next to you because you get really excited.
Yes.
I'm like, what's going to happen next? Right.
I've had people where they've read the books and they're at the end and didn't have the next one and they threw the book across the room. So
I can understand that now. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm happy for you.
If you have a Kindle, that's not necessarily a good thing.
So. No, your computer will go flying.
Yes, it will. So, Miss Diann, what do you write?
Yes. So, yes, I'm multi-genre. I have several children's books published, and I'm happy to announce that Texas Sisters Press will be publishing my second book out this, hopefully this spring. So I'm very excited. So we'll learn more about that on another day.
And you and I did a book launch on the 1st of December. Can you tell everybody about that book too?
Oh, okay. Yes, we did. A Song of Peace about a little boy who wants peace on earth. And actually, there's a movement. So if any of you guys are interested, I have the directions on my YouTube channel, but you can be like Tommy and for 50 seconds, video yourself either singing or saying peace and post it on Instagram, Song of Peace. And we want to start a movement around the world of everybody wishing for peace. And maybe we can get those sounds out there and make it happen, at least for a little while.
Now, you also have a YouTube channel, what's called Story Garden. Can you tell everybody about that?
Sure. So the Story Garden gives an opportunity for authors in the children's world to be interviewed, as well as either highlight their story or to read their story to the young children. And I really love doing it. And right now you're seeing the Story Garden behind me. And but I also started something brand new for all authors of different genres called the Corner Bookstore with USA Global TV, which gives an opportunity for authors to promote their book and share the backstory of their book. So if you're interested in that,
actually be on that.
I know.
Make sure I have the right date because there's one right after another on February 3rd at noon.
Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you. So if you guys are interested, make sure to contact us. And again, it's all genres and all children and adults. So thank you, CJ, for being on the show. We're really going to look forward to it.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So, but you can reach me at diannfloydboehm.com. Very easy. And my young adult historical fiction book is Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More. And it's all about a young woman who happens to be my grandmother. And again, it's historical fiction. And the purpose of that book is to follow your dreams, work hard, and be the person you're meant to be.
Awesome. Now, what are you giving away today?
Actually, I am giving away a Kindle version of Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More. And if you look real closely, that's my grandmother when she was 16.
What a nice tribute. That's really cool.
So, the fun thing about this book is, for me, was discovering all the history. I really thought I knew my grandmother. I actually lived for a while when I was an adult. And boy, those women of the 1920s, you know, they didn't use the word teenager back then. It was because of these women and men that era. It wasn't until the 1950s that the word teenager became important. In the 1920s, you were either an adult or a child. And once you became, quote, an adult, when your body changed, it was time for you to get married. And there was a favorite saying in my grandmother's house that her daddy used to say, because she had 5 brothers like me. And that was, there's only room for one rooster in the house, which meant you better get married.
Got it.
Share a little bit of trivia.
That's pretty cool. No, yeah. I'm excited for you. I think that's awesome. So we're going to spin the wheel to see who gets Diann's Rise is the name of the book.
Rise.
So let's hope this is going to cooperate with me. So here we go. Let's see who we got. Looks like it's going to Yay! I know her. I know who that is. So
Yay!
I will get that from you. Congratulations. That's pretty cool.
Congrats.
Yay! So we're going to jump over. I cannot get this thing to work with me. We're going to jump down to Ms. DC Gomez next. DC, you are kind of like me. We did we did a book swap because I like doing book swaps with different authors. I love getting autographed copies, and I have all of hers, and she now has almost all of mine except for the one that's launching. Yeah, except for the ones that launched from August. And so, can you tell us about the whole Plague Unleashed, as well as the devotional series you've got and everything else, and your children's books?
Sure. I do multi-genre, so I do a little bit of everything. And I'm actually going to talk to you guys about a brand new series that I have coming out, which I'm kind of super excited about. So I do urban fantasy is one of my probably favorite genres to read, to write about. So Plague Unleashed, which is the book that I'm going to be given, is the second book on the Intern Diaries. So the Intern Diaries is based on the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. It is literally action-packed. I'll give you a tour of Texarkana. We're going to go have some adventures. We're going to blow some stuff up. But it's an introduction to the supernatural from the perspective of a person who's never seen it. So you get to actually kind of learn about magic and learn about this world from her point of view. So you get a little bit of fun of part of that. I also write children. So I have a children's series called Charlie's Fables. And that's very specifically designed to help little ones kind of find out who they are, what they want to do, and how to get parents involved in that process. Devotionals, I have a series of 3. And devotionals is very much, I kind of say it very like loosely, like, I love fantasy because I always feel like I have a cat to save me. There's always a magical cat somewhere that's going to protect me from craziness. When it comes to actual like nonfiction, it's very personal, it's very raw. So the devotionals is that journey. If you enjoy self-help books, if you enjoy, scriptures, if you enjoy going deep into yourself, this devotional series, there's 3 books. Dare to Forgive, Dare to Believe, Dare to Love, and pretty much is to get you seriously looking into yourself and truly believing that you're meant to live, that you're meant to be doing a greatness things. And it's quite interesting because, I'm the girl that's writing about angels and demons and witches and zombies, and then I have a devotional series. So it's kind of showing to everybody, but you can do anything. You should be able to explore anything. So a little bit about the new series coming up. Its first book's going to be released probably in March. So it's a spin-off of my Intern Diaries, which I'm super excited. So we're going to stay within the same universe. So if you like urban fantasy and insane adventures, we have The Hitman coming out. So it's based on Eric, who is a fabulous, sexy detective cop who happens to be a witch, who has left Texarkana and the intern groups to go help the Order figure out who betrayed them. So we're going to give you a spin-off of that. So this will be all sorts of fun and fabulous.
Yes. Now, you mentioned the cats, but there is something you forgot to mention when you mentioned the cats. You said there's always a cat to save you. So you forgot to mention Constantine regarding your Plague Unleashed, and you also forgot to remember the crazy cat lady. So can you tell us about those?
I honestly, for a person who only has one cat, I have lots and lots of cats in my books, which people kind of ask me, like, well, how many do you have? Literally, I just have one cat who happens to be Little Terror. So with Constantine is literally the guardian to the interns. If you are going to go down a crazy rabbit hole, he's supposed to be 5 dozen-year-old talking cat. So for anybody who joins my newsletter, you're literally going to get on a monthly basis a Chronicles of Constantine. So Constantine's going to send you a newsletter every month telling you his favorite things in the world. So if you don't mind getting a letter from a cat, Constantine's going to write to you, believe it or not. And usually my joke with everybody, I might have readers. Constantine has fans. And he has fans that send him mail. Like I usually get these letters like to Constantine and the Human. I'm like, oh God, really?
Thanks for including me.
Oh yeah, barely. I'm barely included in this mail. So Constantine has fans who is, why not? He has more money than God. He says what he wants and he rules everybody. So typical cat.
Nice.
So Constantine's is in the devotional series. You're going to get the crazy cat. My crazy cat lady series is what happens when you have nothing to lose. So Angela went from depressed cat lady to arms dealer. And yes, Angela will be having her second book coming out this year.
Oh, nice.
I know, it's kind of crazy. So we're going to go from arms dealer to murder mystery kind of say, because why not? And she has
Why not?
2 cats. Yeah, why not? So she has 2 cats, so you get to meet Bonnie and Clyde. And somebody asked me, "Are they magical?" It's like, no, there's just cats. I'm sorry.
But she
Every
has
cat.
cats named Bonnie and Clyde, and she's an arms dealer, so that's
Yeah, why not? And she lives in this little town in Texas, which I had to made up because I needed something really small. So she has 2 cats. So my series that is coming out, I think this one will be out in April. I have an urban fantasy apocalypse, and this one has a cat, yes, who happens to be a necromancer. So if you're going to make a cat be powerful, making him necromancer, why not?
Oh,
Yes, I know.
one hefty cat.
Why not?
So, what are you giving away today again?
We're going for zombies. I should actually go for zombie because Elijah and Elijah are all about zombies. So if anybody is interested in a fun zombie, they're not really massacres. I don't even know how to put it. It's actually really fun. Fairly clean because the whole entire concept is how do you control a bunch of zombies you can't kill? Because
Oh
death
dear,
might be mad at you. So yes.
that's a good question. Okay, let's
Oh,
spin the wheel and see who wins. This is a paperback version, correct?
yes, it is.
Well, if it's Diann got it.
I
Yay! Yay!
I feel very lucky.
There you go.
Thank you.
There's your confetti. It was a little slow on the uptake, but you know,
A
we
little
got
slow.
there. A little slow on the uptake. So congratulations, Diann.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thank
Me too. I actually have all of them, so including the crazy cat lady. Like I said, I like to do swaps. And speaking of doing swaps and reading other people's stuff, my next author that I have up is my friend, Mr. Michael Scott Clifton.
Hello.
Hi. So you have multiple things going on, including our podcast, which is Book World: The Great Escape. He's my partner, co-host on that. We could talk to authors, writers, readers alike, kind of give the readers an inside track on what it's like being an author and stuff. So super excited about that. So can you tell? Oh, and it's on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central Time. So can you tell us about your books and stuff too?
Well, a little bit about myself. I live in East Texas. Was a long time public educator. I was a teacher, coach, and administrator. I write in the sci-fi fantasy genre. Interestingly enough, I read more mainstream, different genres other than fantasy and sci-fi. But I enjoy. All of us were uh, fervent readers before we became authors, and so still enjoy reading a good book, as I'm sure we all do. And I have 6 books that I've published, and the 7th book is the 4th, and thank the Lord, the last book in my Conquest of the Veil series. I'm it's
It's a really good series. I've read all of them
It's
so
a
far.
series, and but keeping up with all of the characters and plot lines and things like that has made it a little bit more of a challenge, especially with each successive book. But I do write in the sci-fi fantasy genre. My first book was The Treasure Hunt Club, and what I tell people is if you took the Goonies and you fast forward until they are now adults and you cross them with Indiana Jones, their child would be the Treasure Hunt Club.
Wow.
Imagine,
Love it.
imagine the plot line you can have if you take a 30-something guy who's never can hold a job, is always down on his luck, but he finds a book that can find anything that's ever down through history that's ever been lost, what he would do with it. And, and for once in his life, his one of his crazy schemes come true, and that's when his life really starts to fall apart. So, and I was very proud because the Treasure Hunt Club was actually finally my first book. It cracked the Amazon top 100, in the historical fantasy category, which I found out by accident. I just happened to be looking through, and I thought, man, that's me, it's my book, and I was deliriously happy about that. The Janus Witch was the second book I had published. It's paranormal. and obviously it's about witches. And I kind of reversed the setting where you go from a medieval setting. Imagine what would happen if you took a evil, violent group of witches and slingshotted them through time to present day East Texas, which several of my books have East Texas settings, cause one of the witches to lose her memory because the passage left her so critically injured she lost her memory, and then have her fall in love with a young man whose personality is kind and his compassion is the exact opposite of the way she used to be. And what happens from that point forward. And then, of course, my fantasy series called Conquest of the Veil. I would classify that as a sword and sorcery, epic high fantasy. 4 books in the trilogy. I mean, in the book series, I've got the first 3, of course, are published. The 4th and last book, Cavern of the Veil Queen, will be coming out in April or 1st of May. Soon around that time, end of April, 1st of May. And the Conquest of the Veil, the main character is something I saw quite a bit when I was, well, unfortunately, more than I'd wanted to see when I was in public education, and that is that quiet kid, in this case, a young lady who doesn't speak much, very shy, almost like background noise, but who someday runs afoul with somebody who's not, who's more of a control freak and bullies this person to the point where they were going to commit suicide. And but before she can carry out the act, her guardian angel, who is not your typical guardian angel, very rude and condescending person, does offer her a chance to swap her life with someone else. And she takes him up on it, figuring, well, how can my life be any worse than it is now? So
don't ask a question you don't want to know
yes,
the answer
yeah,
to.
be careful what you ask. So she ends up on a parallel world of magic, and best of all, she's transformed from this very plain-looking young lady to a beautiful woman with servants and riches. But what her guardian angel failed to share with her is that there's a good side and a bad side of this world that is separated by a barrier of magic, and drum roll, she's on the bad side. She's on the wrong side. So very much be careful what you ask for scenario. But the book world that you mentioned, CJ, the book world has been a joy to do. It's been very eye-opening. We have different, every week it's a little bit different. Sometimes we have authors as guests. Sometimes we have people who are involved in the production of books, like cover artists, illustrators, that are also on the Book World blog. And sometimes we have book reviews, sometimes mainstream authors, sometimes indie authors. And also we have discussions, about, for example, we had pantsers versus planners. And CJ and I both discovered we're definitely in the pantser stage.
Oh, I'm like poster child pantser right here. I know that. I own that. I know, like, tomorrow at 1, we're going to be doing critique groups and partners, yay or nay.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I take my hat off to those of you who are planners, because I would pull every hair that I have remaining in my head out if I had to do that. So I can't, fly by the seat of your pants.
Gotcha. So what are you giving away today?
I don't know if you can, the reflection on this is the first book. What's that? Can you see that? It is the first book in the Conquest of the Veil series, called The Open Portal. That's book 1. So I'm giving that away as an ebook, and like I said, it's part of the Conquest of the Veil series as book 1.
Okay, let's see who the winner will be. Actually, we've already got it, so I need to respin. It's not going to be Trevor.
Sorry,
we have it. We've already got it. Close, but we'll leave him on there. I'll try it again. Watch it land on me. Or Mike.
Oh.
It's going to Kay.
All right.
Miss Kay Wendt gets free ebook. Awesome. You'll enjoy it, Kay. It's pretty good. So, So now we're on to me.
Yay.
Yes. So I am CJ Peterson. I hate interviewing myself, so feel free to ask questions, guys. I have my sister's supposed to be on here, but she's having technical issues regarding her internet. So I get to go solo, but I am a 8-time award-winning multi-genre author. Say that fast 20 times.
It's a mouthful.
So I have 17 books out starting now. I had 16 as of yesterday, but now the 17th, which is the one we're celebrating today. And I started off as a big people book author, and that's kind of more what I like to write. And I'm a children's author by mistake, and I'll explain that in a minute. So, as the big people author, I have multiple series out. The first one is Grace Restored series, and then the Holy Flame trilogy, and then there's a standalone called Strength from Within. Those three are actually all going on at the same time. And then there's a 20-year jump into the Divine Legacy series. Now, the characters within the books that I just mentioned all actually cross over storylines. So it's like Panther to the nth degree. So yeah, keeping people straight, Mike. Trust me, I did it through 13, 14, 15 books. And then the next book that goes with that series, it's kind of like the bow that wraps it up. It's called Christmas Angels. That launched on October 1st. It's a little novella. And that kind of wraps up the entire series itself. So it's kind of cool. But people like it because they're reading a different series and like, oh, I saw that person in that one. But in those series, the spiritual realm crosses into the physical. So where there's dark, there's light. Where there's angels, there's demons. The underlying group is called Angel, which is available to nurture God's eternal love. They get their assignment from Michael the Archangel, who ships them out in the world to help people. So it's kind of unique, and they do go all over the world. Someone asked me if I was going to put them on audiobook, and I said, I don't know that I can find one single person that will be able to do all the different accents and who actually has to read Russian. So I don't think that's possible. So I'm not going to be doing that one. Super Hubby says, super proud of you. Thank you. So, but for this new series, I am kicking around the idea of doing it. And I will share again a picture of the new series. And it is Sands of Time Trilogy, which is one of the books that we were celebrating today. I love this series. It's not my normal series. Like I said, I'm not doing the angels anymore. I'm doing these guys. And in this, I tell people it's Stranger Things minus the Mind Flayer stuff meets X-Men. That's the best way I can describe it. There's this professor, Noah Roth, who's decided that there's this gene he wants to generate in these kids, and he's doing it under the guise of a fertility clinic. And he's picking women with little to no family. So, there's not too many people to object what's going on. And it takes them about 20 years to finally get this gene to generate in these kids. And when they do, the moms, mysteriously die of natural causes. And he's the father because he seeded all the experiments, which means he has full rights legal to these kids. And you can imagine what they're growing up as. Well, there are 2 nurses who saw what was going on immediately because there were 4 in the nursery, which are the 4 on the front covers. And they're like, moms are dying left and right from just these kids. Something's going on. So they're like, well, we can't take all 4 of them, but we can take 2. So they kidnap 2 of them so they don't grow up as lab rats, take them down to an East Texas town called Willow Bend, and they raise them in a small town. Well, it's kind of like a nature versus nurture because you got the ones that grew up in the lab and you got the 2 that grew up in Willow Bend in this nice, home life. And so you can imagine, first of all, when they start to get their gifts and things are floating through the air because you got telekinesis, you got empaths, you got telepaths, you got some whose mind works faster than a computer and can predict 99.9% accuracy as to what's going to happen next. There's ones with super hearing. There's all sorts of interesting. The mind gift ones can actually take memories out if you don't want that memory. They can go into your mind and take it out. So it's pretty cool. when I wrote this series, I have an author friend, Eddie Hancock, who I did ask today, but he has some other commitments. He couldn't come on. He's actually one of the characters is based off of him. And so anybody who knows Eddie Hancock knows that he's in a wheelchair due to spina bifida. And so his character ends up in a wheelchair due to an accident between the kids that are in the lab. And the professor thinks he has no gifts. But does he? So you have to read to find out. I tell people the first book gets pretty explosive when, at the appointed time, the professor decides to send two of his strongest after the two in Willow Bend to try to bring them back to the lab. So it gets explosive. Things start to pretty much start blowing up all over the country when the kids start trying to get their kids, their brothers and sisters, away from Professor Noah Roth, because it turned out there's not just one facility in Maine. There's a facility in Wyoming and a facility in Oregon. And so there's kids that go through, they're all over the place. And then I tell people it goes nuclear in book 3. So you're just going to have to read that to find out what happens.
I want to see the movie. And then the next one, and then the next one.
Let me know. I will be happy to talk to you at cjpeterson@yahoo.com. Email me, please.
It's so exciting. I'm like, please don't stop.
Well, those are my things. I did like this marathon thing this year. I do not ever recommend an author to do this. I have now published 6 books between August 30th and today.
Oh my
purely
gosh.
by accident.
Where's bring on the margaritas and celebrate?
I'm telling you right now, my sister was a godsend. We were able to, my husband, bless his heart, was able to, kind of help keep everything flowing around us while I was trying to get this done. Like I said, appointed time launched August 30th. On October 1st, I launched Race Against Time as well as Christmas Angels, that book that goes with the other series.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end of October, I was part of the Texas Sisters Press anthology for this year, which Miss Diann and Miss Diann and Miss DC were part of. We're still trying to talk Mike into doing it for next year.
Yes.
And then on December 1st, along with Mr. Artist Davy Jones, we launched Chief and Sarge's second book, A Day in the Races, A Lesson in Friendship. And then today we did Out of Time. And so, that's fun. Now, to talk real quick about my children's book. Remember I said I was a children's author by mistake. I'm a big people author. I own that. And so I collect monkeys. And my husband and I, he's retired Navy senior chief. In 20 of his 24 and a half years, he worked with the Marines. Well, we were in Camp Pendleton for a visit in California. And they had this adorable little monkey with this little USMC kerchief. And I just had to have it. Hubby's like, you have to have it. He's cute. He's naughty. Go for it. So we named him Sarge because he was from the Marine Corps. And so when we got him, we had him doing these cute little things, things that kids want to do, but they can't do, like areas that are blocked off. The monkey could get in there and wreak havoc because he's a stuffed monkey, a literal stuffed monkey. And people fell in love with Sarge. And I'm like, he needs a brother to balance him out. So Sarge is your energetic, enthusiastic monkey, that gets into all sorts of trouble. Well, to counter him, we got a koala, which think about the koala's personality. Very laid back, kind of, go with the flow sort of thing. And that's what we got. So he was chief after Trevor's Navy senior chief position. So we have Chief and Sarge. We literally take them in a backpack to different places. We call them little guys in the bag. And they get their pictures taken with, they've had their pictures taken with some famous people, some not famous people. Just people love them. And the first book, Cruising, actually just won in December as well another award. It is a multi-award winning book. So it just won 3rd place for North Texas Book Festival for kids 6 to 12. And it also for 2021 won for Best Children's Travel. So their next adventure, what we did was we took them to the races here in Lufkin. And they got to see JJ the Boss and the Memphis Street Outlaw crew. And they got to meet them, and it was pretty fun. They had little autographs on their T-shirts and everything. It was fun. And so we turned that into A Day at the Races, A Lesson in Friendship that Sarge has to learn the hard way. So that's my fun things that I do. Do you guys have any questions before we go on?
Well, congratulations.
Feel like I'm just talking.
I'm exhausted. I don't know when you sleep.
Oh, I do.
I was wondering the same thing. I was like, oh, that's a lot.
Oh,
yeah, I do.
So, yeah. What I love about you, right? Your books are exciting. They're so engaging. And I also like the fact that several of your books have a Christian aspect to it. Maybe you could share a little bit about that.
All of the big people books. I have a deal with God. People are like, you make a deal with God? I said, yes, I make a deal with God. He and I have this thing where I write the books and I put the gospel message in it somewhere in every single one of the novels. He has to land the books into the people's hands that need them and to hear the messages. There's various messages as well. I'm not afraid to touch certain subjects, which you'll find. And a portion of the proceeds from the novels actually all go to, a portion of the proceeds from the novels go to various charities as well. So, and I've always done that. I like to give back. So you get a good read and you get to help a charity at the same time. But yes, I tell people it's Christian fiction, but it is definitely not your mama's Christian fiction.
No, it's not. I'm so glad you shared that. And I love how you, like you said, you read a great book, you're inspired, and you also are helping others. That's powerful.
Thank you. Well, today I'm giving away a couple things. There's a prize and then there's a big prize for those that are watching. So prize number 1 is an ebook of Appointed Time. So we'll see, we'll let you go ahead and start the series because the ebooks are actually out and they are on my website, cjpetersonwrites.com, so you can find them all. So we'll see who wins the ebook. I won my own ebook. That's not going to work. I have to try that again. I'm going to take my name off of there because obviously I can't win anything else that's currently going on. Okay, so let's try again. And Trevor can't win it either. So it's either going to be DC or Cindy. Trevor cannot. You did not listen to me. I said Trevor cannot win it. Oh, wait. Still rolling. Cindy won it. So congratulations, Miss Cindy. You won an ebook of the Appointed Time.
She's going to love it.
So, since the only other one on there is Trevor and DC, by default, it's going to go to DC. DC is going to win a paperback set, and I think you have book 1, Appointed Time, don't you? Okay, then you're going to get book 2 and 3 of the series.
Congratulations.
Time. So that's your prize. Everybody got something, except for Super Hubby, but don't worry, I'll take care of him later. It's all good. So, thank you guys for joining us. We had so much fun today, despite the technical difficulties. So the winners are for DC Gomez, her paperback of Plague Unleashed is going to be Miss Diann Boehm. For the ebook of Appointed Time is Cindy Flo. Paperback set, Miss DC Gomez gets the Sands of Time Trilogy paperback set. Mike Clifton's Open Portal goes to a Kindle version, goes to Kay Wendt, which I will let her know. Kay Wendt's paperback book of Phoebe goes to Mr. Michael Clifton, which you can read to little Jace. Diann's ebook Rise will go to the Con Hour, and I know who that is, so I will get that for you. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you guys so much for participating and sharing your work with the world. Stay tuned on February 15th. We have a new author to Texas Sisters Press. Miss Frankie Hambrick Capers is going to be launching her children's book. So we're excited. In the meantime, we do have some other books up on deck, including Miss Diann's book. There's a book by Jeff Craig that's on deck, and then there's a book by Mr. Bob May that's going to be on deck. So stay tuned for more coming in the next few months from Texas Sisters Press. Thank you guys for hanging out despite the glitches.
We loved it.
If you're interested in any of my books, my website is cjpetersonwrites.com. All the current links are up. The paperback links will be up in a few days. Ms. Diann, what is your website again?
It's my name, DiannFloydBoehm.com. I know it looks like Boehm, but we pronounce it Boehm.
Awesome. Mike, what's your website?
www.michaelscottclifton.com.
Awesome. And Ms. DC?
dcgomez-author.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining today, and we'll catch